Whitney Houston turned it into one of the biggest hits in music history. Elvis Presley wanted to record it. Millions of people know every word. But most have no idea who actually wrote it. These are 10 famous songs you probably never knew were written by Dolly Parton. Number 10, Put It Off Until Tomorrow. Bill Phillips, 1966. It's January 1966. Dolly Parton is 19 years old. She hasn't released a solo album. She isn't famous. She's a songwriter for hire, scratching out melodies in a tiny Nashville publishing office with her uncle Bill Owens, trying to get anyone at all, to cut their songs. They sent a demo of a song called Put It Off Until Tomorrow to a mid-level Decca Records artist named Bill Phillips. On the demo, Bill Owens sings lead, and tucked into the harmony track, barely audible, completely uncredited, is a teenage Dolly Parton. Phillips agrees to record the song. But here's what he also says. He hears that harmony voice and tells them, "Whoever that girl is singing the harmony, I want her on the record." So there she is, 19 years old.
I can't believe the word.
Singing on someone else's hit. Her name on none of the credits that mattered. The song hits number 6 on the Billboard Hot Country Singles chart in April 1966. It earns Song of the Year at the BMI Awards, Dolly's first major industry recognition as a songwriter. But nobody in America knows who wrote it. Nobody says her name on the radio. Nobody sees it coming. That BMI award, though, that was the first domino. That song earned Dolly and her uncle a publishing deal with Combine Music and a recording contract with Monument Records. Before she turned 20, she had a foothold in Nashville that most singers spend their entire careers chasing. One uncredited harmony vocal, one song she wrote at 19, and it quietly changed everything. The industry saw a girls singer. What they got was a songwriter who would outlast them all.
Stay just one more day.
Number 9, Fuel to the Flame, Skeeter Davis, 1967. Riding the momentum of that first hit, Dolly and her Uncle Bill went back to work. And the next song they wrote ended up in the hands of one of the most important women in country music history. Skeeter Davis, one of the first female solo artists to crack the top of the country charts. A genuine trailblazer and someone Dolly genuinely admired. Their song was called Fuel to the Flame.
But do you feel?
A slow-burning ballad about falling for someone and not knowing if they feel the same. The kind of song that sits in your chest long after it's over. Davis released it in 1967. And it gave her the first major hit she'd had in 2 years, peaking at number 11 on the Hot Country Singles chart. Now, here's the thing that makes this entry remarkable. Dolly was 21 years old when this came out. She was helping revive the career of one of the women she looked up to. She was writing songs good enough to matter for established artists, while still being essentially invisible herself. She also recorded her own version on her 1967 debut album, Hello, I'm Dolly. 2 versions of the same song. 2 entirely different worlds. Skeeter Davis got the chart position.
If you're not going to change mine.
Dolly got the credit in the fine print. And somewhere in Nashville, a 21-year-old from the Smoky Mountains, kept filling notebooks. Because that's who she was. Not flashy, not hyped, just relentless. Number 8. In the Good Old Days, When Times Were Bad, Merle, Haggard, 1968.
Watched a hailstorm beating our crops to the ground.
Now this one might genuinely surprise you. Merle Haggard, the Bakersfield Sound, one of the toughest, most authentic voices in American country music. He didn't record just anyone's songs. He had a reputation to protect.
Good old days, when time...
And in 1968, he recorded a song written by Dolly Parton. The story behind how it happened is the kind of thing you couldn't make up. Dolly and Porter Wagoner were on a short tour with Haggard and his then-wife Bonnie Owens.
Till he's stiff as a board.
One night on Haggard's tour bus, the men were up front playing poker. Dolly and Bonnie were in the back. And Dolly did what Dolly always does. She sang. According to the liner notes from Haggard's 1994 box set, Bonnie said, and this is nearly a direct quote, "She sang to me all night long."
Got up before and found ice on the floor with the wind.
Songs that she'd written. One of those songs was In the Good Old Days When Times Were Bad, a raw, honest look at growing up poor in the mountains. Hailstorms beating down crops, going to bed hungry. The kind of hard living that Dolly didn't have to invent. She'd lived it.
In the wall. And I've walked.
Haggard cut it for his 1968 album Mama Tried, releasing it before Dolly put out her own version as the title track of her third album in 1969. Haggard singing Dolly Parton. Let that sit for a second. Because what it tells you is this. By 1968,
in the bed of my overalls.
Dolly wasn't just a girl singer trying to get her own career off the ground. She was writing songs real enough, tough enough, and true enough that Merle Haggard wanted them. In country music, that's not a footnote. That's a credential.
To an old country school with my lunch in the bed of my...
Number 7, I'm in No Condition, Hank Williams Jr., 1967.
Don't smile at me.
And most people know Hank Williams Jr. for Southern rock swagger, for rowdy crowds and football anthems, for the kind of music that rattles the windows of a pickup truck going down a back road at midnight.
I don't have a smile that I...
What most people don't know is that one of his early recordings, a vulnerable, aching track called I'm in No Condition, was written by Dolly Parton. She'd included her own version on her 1967 debut.
Love again, the girl I love.
The song is about the emotional aftermath of heartbreak, about being too broken to try again. It's not flashy, it's not loud. It's the kind of song that requires a performer to actually go somewhere emotionally honest. And Hank Jr. went there.
But let me be till then.
What makes this interesting isn't just the song itself. It's what it says about Dolly's range as a writer. She could write for men. She could write different emotional textures for different voices. She understood instinctively that a great song doesn't belong to the person who sings it. It belongs to whoever needs it. She said it herself. I didn't have a lot of space to write songs for women, so I purposefully tried to write songs that men could record, or songs that could go either way.
Me with love in your eyes.
That's not just a songwriter talking, that's a strategist. A craftsperson who understood the industry well enough to work around its edges. While Nashville was still figuring out what to do with her, she was writing songs for its biggest names.
From a love affair, I didn't want to.
Number 6, Kentucky Gambler, Merle Haggard, 1974.
And I was lucky, and so I left Kentucky
and left.
Haggard was back. And this time, Dolly didn't just write the song, she sang on it. Kentucky Gambler is a story song. A miner who leaves his wife and kids to chase fortune.
Into the gay casino in Nevada.
Greed dressed up as ambition. It's exactly the kind of working-class narrative that defined country music in the early 70s. And Dolly wrote it with the eye of someone who grew up watching people make those choices.
Yeah, and who's gonna be the one to give her everything?
Haggard recorded it in September 1974 at Columbia Studios in Nashville, with Dolly providing harmony vocals. It was released as a single with The Strangers, two of the biggest names in country music. One song.
Here in Kentucky, hey, who's gonna keep them fed and keep them?
And the woman who wrote it was also in the room, singing backup on her own composition for someone else's record. That's a strange kind of power, invisible and undeniable at the same time.
My side and this Kentucky gambler played just right.
By 1974, Dolly was also releasing her own material on RCA Victor, building her solo career brick by brick while simultaneously gifting songs to peers and legends. She was operating on multiple levels at once.
At night. But when you love the greenback dollar,
The kind of multidimensional hustle that the music industry rarely acknowledges in women, then or now. If these stories are hitting different, if you're seeing Dolly Parton in a completely new light right now, go ahead and subscribe. There are a lot more stories like this one coming.
sorrow's always bound to follow, and Reno's dreams fade into need.
But what comes next? This one's rewrote the rules entirely. Because the next song on this list nearly ended up with Elvis Presley. And the reason it didn't, the reason Dolly said no to the king of rock and roll himself, is one of the boldest business decisions in music history.
When you love the greenback dollar, sorrow's always bound to follow.
Number 5, To Daddy, Emmylou Harris, 1977.
Never wanted any more than what she had.
Before we get to Elvis, we need to talk about a song that shows a completely different side of Dolly's writing. Emmylou Harris, ethereal voice, pure Americana, one of the most respected singers of her generation.
She never did say so to Daddy.
In 1977, she recorded a Dolly Parton song called To Daddy, and it hit number 1 on the Billboard Hot Country Singles chart. The song is told from a child's perspective.
She didn't mind staying home if she did.
A little girl watching her mother, exhausted, quiet, worn down by a hard life and a hard marriage. Watching her pack her bags one day and walk out. Watching her finally choose herself. It is gutting, quietly devastating.
She never did say so to Daddy.
The kind of writing that makes you forget you're listening to a country song and makes you feel like you're inside someone's actual memory. Harris's version reached the top of the chart and introduced a whole new audience to what Dolly Parton could do with a pen. Not rhinestones, not big hair, not a punchline. A writer who could make you sit completely still in the middle of a noisy world. The song didn't get as much attention as it deserved. People heard it on the radio, felt something, and moved on without knowing Dolly wrote it. That's the quiet tragedy of the invisible songwriter. The song lives, the name disappears.
I'm gonna search for love, I need so badly.
Number 4, Rainbowland, Miley Cyrus featuring Dolly Parton, 2017. Now here's where things get interesting. And by interesting, I mean complicated in ways nobody saw coming. Dolly Parton wrote this song with her goddaughter, Miley Cyrus, for Cyrus's 2017 album, Younger Now. It was a duet, the two of them together, a warm, gentle song about hope and acceptance, named after Miley's home recording studio, which she'd painted in rainbow colors. Dolly described it simply, "It's really just about dreaming and hoping that we could all do better. Sweet, optimistic. The kind of song a grandmother and a granddaughter write together." And then, in March 2023, a first-grade teacher at Haggard Elementary School in Waukesha, Wisconsin, tried to have her students perform it at the spring concert. The school administration banned it. The reason given? The song could be perceived as controversial. The superintendent of the Waukesha district, who had already prohibited rainbow flags and pride imagery in classrooms, confirmed that the song was pulled because it might not be appropriate for the age and maturity level of the students. Where we're free to be exactly who we are. The teacher posted about it publicly. Parents went to the press. The story exploded nationally. Miley Cyrus's organization responded directly to the students. I'll dig down deep inside, brush the judgment and fear aside, make wrong things right. To the inspiring first-grade students at Haggard Elementary, Keep Being You, a song about being kind to each other. Written by two women, 171, 124, in a rainbow-colored recording studio in Tennessee. Banned from a first-grade concert because the message was too much. Sometimes the most dangerous thing a songwriter can do is tell the truth gently. Number 3. Put It Off Until Tomorrow to I Will Always Love You. The Elvis Presley story.
Well, I would only be.
Here's where Dolly Parton makes a business decision so bold, so clear-eyed, that it still gets talked about in music industry circles today.
Always love you.
It's the early 1970s. Elvis Presley hears I Will Always Love You, and he loves it. He wants to record it. Let that sink in. The king of rock and roll. The most famous entertainer in the world. He wants your song. Most songwriters would have said yes before the sentence was finished. Dolly said no. Here's what happened. The night before the scheduled recording session, Colonel Tom Parker, Elvis's notoriously aggressive manager, called Dolly, and he laid out the terms.
And all I'm taking with me.
Elvis doesn't record anything unless he gets the publishing rights, or at least half of them. Dolly already had a #1 on the country chart with I Will Always Love You. She knew what the song was worth.
Oh, please
Don't cry.
She knew the publishing was the asset that kept paying, long after the record stopped spinning. Her answer was direct. This is the most important copyright in my whole publishing company, and I can't do that.
Will always love.
She walked away from Elvis Presley. Parton later shared that Priscilla Presley told her Elvis sang the song to her on the courthouse steps the day their divorce was finalized.
We both know that I'm not what you need.
He sang it. He never recorded it. And somewhere in that heartbreak, the song found another place to live. Less than 20 years later, another recording would prove exactly how right Dolly had been.
Always love you.
Number 2, I Will Always Love You, Whitney Houston, 1992. She wrote it in a single sitting, 1973. The same night she wrote Jolene. One sitting, 2 songs, both became immortal. But this is the one that became something else entirely.
My darling, you.
I Will Always Love You wasn't a love song. Not really. Dolly wrote it as a professional farewell to Porter Wagoner, the country star who gave her her first real platform on his television show,
Sweet memory.
who believed in her before Nashville did, and who didn't want to let her go when she was ready to leave. She walked into his office the next morning with her guitar. She sat down and sang it to him. He cried, and then he produced the record himself. It hit #1 on the Billboard Hot Country Songs chart in June 1974. She re-recorded it for the 1982 film The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, and it hit #1 again, twice. Same song, same voice, a decade apart.
Goodbye. Please don't cry.
Then Kevin Costner happened. The Bodyguard was supposed to open with Whitney Houston singing Jimmy Ruffin's What Becomes of the Broken-Hearted. But Costner discovered the song had already been used in Fried Green Tomatoes the year before. They needed something else. He suggested Dolly's song.
That is all I'm taking.
Producer David Foster stripped it back. Started with nothing but Whitney's voice, unaccompanied, unadorned, and then let the orchestra build underneath it like a tide coming in. Released November 2, 1992. It spent 14 consecutive weeks at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. 14 weeks. A record at the time for the longest-running #1 by a female artist. The Bodyguard soundtrack became the best-selling movie soundtrack in history. The publishing royalties in the decade after Whitney's version came out earned Dolly an estimated $10 million. She turned down Elvis, she held her copyright, and the universe rewarded her patience with one of the most iconic vocal performances ever recorded. On a song she'd written 20 years earlier as a goodbye note to a mentor. A lot of people say that's Whitney's song, Dolly has said, and I always say, that's fine. She can have the credit. I just want my cash. She got both.
Bittersweet man.
#1, Jolene, Every Artist Who Ever Needed It, 1974 present.
Jolene, Jolene, Jolene.
And then there's this one, the song she wrote in a single sitting, the same night as I Will Always Love You. A flame-haired bank teller in Nashville who flirted with her husband Carl.
Your beauty is beyond compare with flaming locks of auburn hair.
A name she overheard somewhere, Jolene, that she thought sounded like a song. She went home and wrote it in one night. Dolly released Jolene in 1974. It hit #1 on the country chart.
You in his sleep, and there's nothing I can do to keep from crying. When he
It was a quiet, almost eerie success. Not a bombastic hit, but a song that crept under people's skin and stayed there. And then something happened that no one planned and no one predicted. It didn't stop.
can do to keep from crying. When he called your name, Jolene.
The White Stripes covered it. Their raw, garage rock version introduced the song to a generation that had never heard a country radio station in their lives.
And how you could easily take my man, but you don't know what he means to me.
The Pentatonics made it an a cappella showcase. Lil Nas X recorded it. Beyoncé sang it at her 2016 tour. Miley Cyrus performed it at the Grammys with Dolly herself in 2019. As of today, Jolene has been covered by more artists than almost any song in country music history. Not because it's simple, but because it's impossible. Because the character of Jolene is so specific and so universal at the same time that every artist who touches it finds something new inside it. There is no version of Jolene that doesn't work. It has been sung soft, sung hard, sung with orchestras, sung alone in kitchens at 2 a.m. It has been reinterpreted as a plea, as a threat, as a prayer. Dolly wrote it about a real woman, a real fear, a real moment of vulnerability. And because it was completely true, it became completely timeless. One night, two songs. 50 years later, the whole world is still singing both of them. That is not luck. That is not talent alone. That is the work of someone who understood, from the time she was a child in the mountains of Tennessee, that the truest thing you can say is the thing that will outlast you.
What do you mean?